Hey guys, how's it going? This is Natinator, and welcome to the final installment of the miniseries titled Something Was Off About My Freshman Roommate. So let's finish this one off. So as always, turn out the lights, get comfortable, and let the story be finished. Had I been thinking clearly, I would have made sure that Andrea didn't see the pictures that Zach left me on his iPod. But by the time I looked up from crying, she was already viewing the images, a look of shocked horror on her face. She asks, "Eric, what kind of monster is this?" "He's a psychotic killer, and I think he's out to get me because I found out his secret. I know that he's the one that killed the real Zach, and he's trying to stop me before I can go to the police." Just then, my cell phone rings. I'm surprised to see that it's my mother who is calling. My mom never calls me this late at night. "Hello? Mom? Eric? Honey, I think you better come home tonight." Her voice sounds strained. Starting to panic, I ask, "Mom, are you okay? What's going on?" "Eric, just please come home. Your father and I need to see you." And with that, she hangs up. I'm gripped with fear that Zach has somehow found his way to my parents' house. I don't know if he's playing a sick game, but I need to make sure my parents are safe. "Andrea, I've got to go home to check on my parents. You need to go somewhere safe. Go to your parents' place. He shouldn't know where that is. I'll call you when I can. Then we can go to the police." "Eric, I don't want to go alone," she retorts. "You gotta trust me. I think Zach might have my parents, and I don't want you anywhere near there. Just go home as fast as you can. You'll be safe at home with your folks." My mind is racing during the drive home. How could all this be happening so fast? Zach blank was just a name on a roommate info card 8 days ago, and now his killers pretended to be him while living with me, stalked my girlfriend, killed my friend, and is now terrorizing my parents. It's very late when I pull into our cul-de-sac. I'm immediately shocked to see police cars with flashing lights all around my house. Could my parents have somehow contacted the police? Maybe they've already captured Zach. I park the car and sprint toward my house. After a few seconds, I hear someone yell, "There he is! Someone grab him!" I start looking around anxiously, hoping to identify Zach as he's trying to dash away. All of a sudden, the wind is knocked from me and my vision blurs. I've been slammed to the ground. "What the hell? Get off of me! What's going on?" I can feel my arms being twisted behind my back, and I feel cuffs locking. "Eric, you're under arrest for the murder of Zach blank. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say or do will be used—" What are you talking about? I didn't kill him!" I scream. "My roommate at DePaul has been pretending to be Zach, but he's the murderer. I can help you catch him." I continue to try to make the police officer understand, but he continues to escort me into my house, where I see my parents sitting at the kitchen table. They look distraught and pained when they see me walk in. "Mom, Dad, are you guys okay? Did my roommate try to hurt you? Was he here? I anxiously ask. Eric, my mum starts to say. Mum, the cops are making a mistake. They should be arresting the guy that's been my roommate at DePaul. He's pretending to be my real roommate, but he murdered him, and he killed Joel. Eric, she starts again quietly. They found something in your room. A large police sergeant comes over to me. Eric, I'm Sergeant Rosado. We received a tip tonight that you might be responsible for the murder of Zach Blank 2 weeks ago. What? I yell incredulously. That's ludicrous! My roommate killed Zach! Who told you it was me? The caller identified himself as a friend of yours from school, responds the sergeant. He said you were acting strange and thought it had something to do with the death of Zach. But that doesn't make sense. We weren't convinced either. That is, until we came here and found this under your bed. As he said this, another cop brought in a duffel bag. The same duffel bag that had been sitting on the floor of my dorm room for the past week. Zach's duffel bag. Does this look familiar? As he opens the bag, I can see a small cooler inside. He flips open the lid to reveal human organs and ice. A heart, a liver, and a few others. Stunned, I blurt out, This is crazy. I'm being set up. My roommate is framing me for the murder that he committed. Ask anyone on my floor at school. They'll all tell you how strange he's been acting all week. Call Andrea. She'll tell you how he's been leaving origami flowers in her room. He's framing me somehow. I didn't do this. Tears begin to stream down my face. Son, Sergeant Rosada says, you're going to need to come with us tonight. As they walk me out of the house into a squad car, I can hear my father ask the sergeant if it's possible that I'm telling the truth. Is it possible that my roommate is framing me? I hear the sergeant respond that they'd look into it, but that it's very unlikely. I spend a long sleepless night in a holding cell at the police station. A few times I tried to plead with the officer on duty to talk to my friends at DePaul. I tell him to ask them about the guy that I've been sharing a room with. He just ignores me. Late the next morning, I'm taken to an interrogation room. Sergeant Rosado walks in holding a manila folder and sits down. Eric, can you tell me, in detail, about this person who has been your roommate this past week? He asks. So, I tell him all about my roommate, Zach. I tell him about all the weird things that he did that week. The staring out the window, the sleeping without bed sheets, the late night walks, and the creepily staring at me while I slept at night. And then I go into detail about what happened the day before, starting with my discovery of the news article revealing that the real Zach had been murdered 2 weeks ago. I share about meeting with Joel after class, and then having him go to the police while I check on Andrea, because I thought Zach was after her. And finally, I explained to him about driving down to Andrea's and finding out Zach had been coming there at night, and how we found an origami flower and iPod with the images of the murdered Joel on it that had been left by the door while we talked. So you have to stop him. He killed the real Zach and he killed Joel yesterday. Sergeant Rosado just stares at me and sighs. Eric, We went up to your dorm room this morning to verify your story. We found this. With that, he opens the manila folder to reveal a set of photographs. The pictures show the same scene that I saw on the iPod that Zach left me. But the police photos were taken further back to reveal that Joel was killed and placed into my bed in my dorm room. I stare at them in shock. He killed Joel in my room. These are just the pictures that he left for me on the iPod. An iPod that only has yours and Andrea's fingerprints on it. I pause. I'm not sure I follow. He continued. Don't you find it peculiar that there's nothing on the other bed in your dorm room? Isn't it strange that your roommate doesn't have any clothes or personal possessions? That's what I've been saying! I scream. He's always been super weird. He's a psychopath! Eric, he calmly says. We talked to the other people that live on your floor. No one has ever seen or heard of this roommate of yours. The teachers say they've never had this Zach in any of their classes. Eric, you've been living alone for the past week. You never had a roommate. Epilogue. The hearing and the trial went by in a blur for me. I was tried and convicted for the murders of both Zach and Joel. Additionally, they're currently trying to link me to 2 similar unresolved murders that happened in the past month, all in Indiana. I never got to speak to Andrea again, and I only saw her once during the whole process. It was when she testified on the stand about her relationship with me and about what happened to her that fateful week. She only looked at me once, and I could see the revulsion and fear on her face. It didn't make any sense. I don't remember doing any of these things. I pleaded with them that I was framed, and that if Joel was still alive, he could confirm meeting my roommate, the real killer. He knew how crazy Zach was, and he helped me figure everything out. The prosecuting lawyer said it was awfully convenient that the only other person who had seen or spoken to my supposed roommate was now dead. After the trial, they put me in a prison for the criminally insane. They said I have dissociative personality disorder. That's why I don't remember killing anyone. I've been here for months now, and I've been told this so often that I'm starting to believe that maybe they're right. Maybe I did kill those people. This morning, I received a letter. A rare surprise in this hellhole. I opened it up to see a folded origami flower and picture. On the flower was written a note in handwriting that I immediately recognized. She looks so peaceful when she sleeps, Eric. I envy that. The picture was the photograph of Andrea that was taken from my nightstand.